When Dillon Brooks, Tyler Dorsey, Jordan Bell, Boucher and Casey Benson left Oregon's basketball program, head coach Dana Altman knew his team could use a leader. In came Payton Pritchard, who spent his first 2 years with the experienced squad, before taking the team under his wing this season. While Pritchard has struggled offensively in recent games, the junior guard put the team on his back in a must-win matchup with Cal on Wednesday, proving he's just the player Altman hoped he would be. The 10 rebounds were impressive, Altman said of Pritchard's double-double night. They weren't easy rebounds, he went and got them, went back and mixed up and got his boards. I thought that was by far the best part of his game. The Westland, or native, recorded the second double-double of his college career, dropping 20 points on 7-14 shooting while grabbing a career-high 10 rebounds in Oregon's 73-62 victory over Cal. Tonight's player of the game is at Fast PP3. The junior earned the second double-double of his career with 20 points and a career-high 10 rebounds. I shot it definitely a lot better today, so hopefully I can keep making strides now, Pritchard said. I kind of just tightened up my form, not thinking as much, just playing ball. Today I was more ready to shoot when the shots were coming. Pritchard now has 1,081 career points, 32nd in program history. This comes just 1 week after he became the 6th player in Oregon history, with 1,000 points and 400 assists. While the weight of the team's success shouldn't be placed on Pritchard's shoulders alone, it's obvious the Young Ducks still have some work to do before they host Stanford on Sunday. Oregon turned the ball over on 11 occasions before halftime, and finished the game with 15 turnovers total on the night. Altman was crestfallen with his team's careless play. Hopefully, we can make a big step here in the next few weeks and continue to get better, Altman said. I think there is a lot there, and I'm disappointed in myself that we haven't gotten it out of them and that we haven't made better progress. But we had to find a way to win today. Pritchard is doing all he can do to help his Ducks win. But Altman's right, Oregon still has some growing pains to figure out with the halfway point of conference play upon us. Next up, Oregon, 14-9, 5-5, welcomes the Stanford Cardinal, 11-10, 4-5, who sit just one game under the Ducks in the Pac-12 standings. The two teams meet on Sunday at Matthew Knight Arena. Tip-off time is 5 p.m. Oregon men's basketball did what we expected them to do against the last-place Cal Bears on Wednesday night: protect the ball, clean the glass and take care of business. We weren't so convinced the Ducks could handle the Bears early on, as Oregon got into turnover trouble within the first few minutes. But Cal failed to capitalize on Oregon's sloppy mistakes and never lead again after the 9:32 mark in the first half. Led by sharpshooter Payton Pritchard, who had a double-double, 20 points and 10 rebounds, the Ducks improved to 14-9 on the season and 5-5 in conference play. Final box score, Ducks 73, Bears 62. Here's a few quick takeaways from Lindsay Wisniewski, reporter on the road. Holy turnovers. I wasn't convinced the Ducks could pull this one off after watching the first 8 minutes of play. Oregon, who usually averages 12 turnovers per game, had a costly 11 turnovers in the first half alone, which led to 12 Cal points. They cleaned up their act in the second half, finishing the night with 15 turnovers total. Coming off a 23-point performance against Stanford, the Ducks held Cal forward Justice Sueing to 17 points on the night. Sueing shot just 4-8 from the field and missed both of his three-point attempts and failed to keep his back-to-back 20-point streak going. Payton Pritchard was the only Ducks player who could seem to hit the three on Wednesday night. The junior guard was on fire, shooting a lights-out 5-9 from behind the arc and 7-14 from the field. He finished with 20 points and 10 rebounds on the night. Oregon will need Pritchard's hot streak to continue into Sunday, when Stanford rolls into Matthew Knight Arena. Oregon basketball is in must-win territory, and we're for real this time. The Ducks have gone from Pac-12 preseason favorites to 5 games out of first place in the conference, and we're nearly to the midpoint of the college basketball season. That's not good. Not to mention, Oregon is coming off one of its worst losses in Dana Altman history, a 73-51 dismantling in Colorado that left everyone, including junior guard Payton Pritchard, disappointed in the team's regression. "Right now we just need to get wins," Pritchard said. I think almost every game is now a must-win. We have to prepare for it at least. Our margin for error is now very low. Enter the Cal Bears. Cal is in last place in the Pac-12 and has yet to get its first conference win of the season. The Bears are coming off a heartbreaking 84-81 loss to the Cardinals, who the Ducks will face next. Oregon cannot afford to lose to Cal if they want even the slightest chance of an NCAA at-large bid next month. Let's preview Oregon vs. Cal. Records: Oregon 13-9, 4-5; California 5-16, 0-9. Injury update: Bull Bowl season-ending injury and Abu Kigab transfer are out for the Ducks. Record watch: if Oregon wins on Wednesday, Coach Dana Altman will enter the NCAA's top 30 in all-time Division I coaching victories. Fun fact: Oregon has 3 of the Pac-12's top 10 players in steals. Ehab Amin is second at 1.7 per game, Payton Pritchard ranks 5th at 1.6 per game, and Will Richardson is 9th at 1.4 per game. Richardson on the move. In Thursday's win over Utah, freshman Will Richardson recorded a season-high 19 points while adding 5 rebounds, and a season-high 3 blocks for the Ducks. The block king reigns. Kenny Wooten passed Blair Rasmussen for third on UO's career blocks list with 3 blocks versus Utah. The sophomore forward now has 122 blocks overall, following a 92-block season in 2018. Bears to watch: Justice Sueing is coming off back-to-back 20-point games, while Connor Vanover recorded a personal best 15 points against Stanford. Darius McNeil has 17 steals and 19 three-pointers on the year. How and where to watch time: Wednesday, February 6th at 6:45 p.m. PT Ware, Matthew Knight Arena TV, FS1. The Oregon men's basketball team is still looking for their first win in Boulder, Colorado. Yep, you read that right. Even the 2016-17 Ducks, who went 16-2 in conference play and advanced to the Final Four of the NCAA tournament, couldn't snap Oregon's losing streak at the CU Events Center. Colorado has struggled in the Pac-12 thus far this season, going 2-6 in conference play. But Oregon hasn't found much success either. After Thursday's 78-72 win over the Utes, however, the Ducks are in good position to climb up the conference standings, and need to be all in to complete the mountain sweep this Saturday. Let's preview Oregon at Colorado. Records: Oregon 13-8, 4-4; Pac-12; Colorado 11-9, 2-6; Pac-12. Injury update: Bull Bowl season-ending injury and Abu Kigab transfer are out for the Ducks. Oregon's Kenny Wooten had a tough fall against the Utes, flipping over Utah's Jace Johnson and taking a few minutes to get up. He returned to the game ahead of halftime and is expected to be good to go. The Buffaloes are without senior guard Naaman Wright and sophomore Dallas Walton, who both suffered season-ending injuries. Junior guard Dillon Brooks is academically ineligible to play. Record watch: with Oregon's next win, Dana Altman will enter the NCAA's top 30 in all-time Division I coaching victories. Fun fact: junior guard Payton Pritchard has 92 consecutive starts for the Ducks. Richardson goes off. Ducks head coach Dana Altman has been pushing freshman Will Richardson to break out of his shell. After scoring a mere 8 points in the last 4 contests, the 6'5" guard exploded for a career-high 19 points on 8-12 shooting against Utah. Buffaloes to watch: Tyler Bay leads the Buffaloes in rebounding with 9.2 rebounds per game. The sophomore guard forward has managed 27 blocks and 19 steals so far this season, and should definitely be on Oregon's watch list. Sophomore guard McKinley Wright leads Colorado in scoring with 12.7 points per game. He averages 4.8 rebounds and 5.1 assists. How and where to watch time: Saturday, February 2nd, 6:36 p.m. PT, where, CU Events Center, Boulder, Colorado. TV, Pac-12 Networks. The Oregon Ducks have now secured the nation's #1 junior college and high school prospect nationally. Junior college recruiting ranking site, jcgridiron.com, released its final top 100 rankings on Wednesday, and Oregon offensive lineman signee Malaysia Amavilalu has topped the list. On film, he's a total destroyer, throwing around defensive linemen like rag dolls. Brad Hoyseth of JC Gridiron said, "His feet are quick and his lower half is overpowering. He's the real thing." Amavilalu joins 2019 #1 ranked prospect, Kayvon Thibodeau, who also committed to Oregon over the Alabama Crimson Tide. The 6'7", 345-pounder out of Navarro College was the first offensive lineman to commit to Oregon head coach Mario Cristobal. He chose the Ducks over offers from Alabama, Florida, Florida State, Texas A. "No need to get in touch with me now. I'm an Oregon Duck." Raised fist medium skin tone pic. Twitter.com/Jick2Jack9NQ. Malaysia at Salad Ab East, June 24, 2018. Amavilalu is expected to provide depth at the tackle spot, joining sophomore Stephen Jones and senior George Moore, the nation's #1 junior college offensive tackle in 2017. His ceiling is high, so it wouldn't be surprising to see Amavilalu make an impact immediately, eventually moving into Oregon's starting rotation. Less than a week until signing day, Oregon's recruiting class ranks 6th overall on 247 sports with 25 total members. The Oregon Ducks men's basketball team is at a crossroads. They must string together a few wins on the road to have a chance at a top 4 seed in conference play, and their first stop in Utah won't be easy. The Utes, who are tied for second place in the Pac-12 standings with the USC Trojans, are coming off a Bay Area sweep of Stanford and Cal. Meanwhile, the Duck squad is coming off a 20-point win over the Washington State Cougars on Sunday, led by Lewis King, Kenny Wooten and Paul White, who combined for 60 points in the meeting. Oregon, who enter the 5th week of conference play sitting 8th in the standings, will look to get a winning streak going. They've had success in Utah in previous seasons, winning 3 consecutive games at the John M. Huntsman Center, but a loss in Salt Lake City could spell disaster for the Ducks. Let's preview Oregon at Utah. Records: Oregon 12-8, 3-4, Utah 11-8, 5-2. Wounded Ducks, bowl season-ending injury, and Abu Kigab transfer, are out. Roster shakeup: don't be surprised to see another roster shakeup from Oregon this week. Following Sunday's win over Washington State, Altman told reporters that the Ducks' rotation will likely change a few more times this season. Last weekend, freshman guard Will Richardson moved back into the starting lineup. Record watch: the Ducks fell just short of achieving an interesting mark versus a WSU. If White would have scored just 2 more points, the Ducks would have had 3 players with 20 for the first time in 17 years. If King, Wooten and White can keep the hot streak flowing, Oregon could very well surpass this milestone on its 2-game road trip. Fun fact: Oregon has made at least 1 3-point field goal in 731 games. Utah is 8-1 when totaling 15 or more team assists. White steps up, with Bull out for the season and Kenny Wooten missing 4 games due to jaw injury. Paul White has stepped up in a big way. In 7 of the last 8 games, White has scored in double figures. He scored 18 points on Sunday against Washington State. Utes to watch: the Utes are coming off their first ever Bay Area sweep since joining the conference in 2011-12. Senior guard Cedric Barrefield and freshman forward both Gatch recorded 21 points and 18 points, respectively, while freshman Timmy Allen posted a double-double, 17 points and a career-high 12 rebounds. How and where to watch time: Thursday, January 31st, 7 p.m. Where? John M. Huntsman Center, Salt Lake City, Utah. TV, FS1 Mario Cristobal could potentially have another 5-star commit coming to Eugene, this time in 2020. Announced via social media on Sunday, Jan. 27, five-star wide receiver Johnny Wilson revealed the Oregon Ducks to be in his top 5, along with Washington, Ohio State, UCLA, and Texas. You gotta tell the WIZERD, it's a story like a book. Writing hand medium skin tone pic.twitter.com/@deckfmwexv. Johnny Wilson, @JohnnyWilson, January 28, 2019. Wilson, a 6 feet 5 inches 215-pound receiver from Calabasas High School in California, may be writing that. The connection between Wilson and the University of Oregon? It may have something to do with his current high school teammate Micah Pittman, who signed with Mario Cristobal's Ducks back in July 23, 2018. According to Rivals, one thing that can't go overlooked is the timing of Wilson's announcement. Wilson made this decision following the departure of Oregon wide receivers coach Michael Johnson, who was hired at Mississippi State on Saturday, January 26, to coach the Bulldogs receivers. Wilson made his top 5 announcement on Sunday. If Cristobal can use his recruiting powers to hire a wide receivers coach who appeals to Wilson's needs, then this could be a scary elite group of receivers in the coming years at Oregon. Will Wilson join the? A second Oregon coach has taken flight from Eugene. Wide receivers coach Michael Johnson has been hired away to Mississippi State to coach the Bulldogs wide receivers corp. During his off-season recruiting, Mario Cristobal will have to add wide receivers coach to his list. The Oregon Ducks coaching staff first lost outside linebackers coach Court Dennison to Louisville and now Johnson to Mississippi State. Johnson began his short 2-year coaching career with the Ducks in 2017 under then-head coach Willie Taggart. In 2018, he coached one of the best receivers in Oregon football program history, Dillon Mitchell, who finished his junior season with 1,184 receiving yards. But this has been one of the more interesting, heated storylines of the 2018 Oregon season. Besides Mitchell, no really other receiver stepped up. The Ducks receivers were plagued with the drops all season long. Now with both Mitchell declared for the upcoming NFL draft, and Johnson gone, this position is a wide open door and will look a lot different next season. Michael Johnson leaves for Mississippi State. Ducks have a promising young group of receivers in need of development. They need a teacher who drills down on the details. Route running, hands, reading defenses, discipline, consistency. Dale Newton, @DSH_Newton, January 26, 2019. On the roster for next season are returners Jalen Redd, Jr., Brendan Schooler, Sr., Johnny Johnson, Jr., as well as Dawood Davis, sophomore, and Brian Addison, redshirt freshman. Next year's 2019 commits are also not to be understated as well. 4-star Josh Delgado, 4-star Micah Pittman, 4-star Lance Wilhoit, and 3-star Junior Waters. Whoever Cristobal decides to pursue and ultimately hire, that coach will have a few years to really develop this young receiving corp. As if Ugo Amadi could have ended his college career any better. A 9-4 season capped off with a Red Box Bowl victory. Regular season wins over rivals Washington and Oregon State. The first FBS player to return a punt for a touchdown and 2 pick-sixes in the same season since 2015, and now being awarded with another trophy, one that gives the Oregon Star even more national recognition. Amadi wins the Lombardi Trophy for the nation's best player of the year, regardless of position. Congratulations at Umadi7_ recipient of the 2018 Lombardi Award. The 2018 Lombardi Award for College Player of the Year. What a run that has been, going through coaching change after coaching change, bouncing around the secondary before finding his niche at safety, and being the leader that the Ducks' young secondary desperately needed last season. Previous Lombardi winners include Bryce Love, RB 2017, Scooby Wright, LB 2014, Luke Ketchley, LB 2011, and Ndamukong Suh, DL 2009. In addition to the Lombardi, Amadi caps off his senior season as a Jim Thorpe semifinalist, AP Pac-12 All-Conference Second Team, Coaches Pac-12 All-Conference Honorable Mention, Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Week in November 5, and the Paul Hornung Award Honor Roll, October. 1. The 5 feet 10 inches 185-pound star from Nashville, Tennessee played in all 51 games from 2015 to 2018 and will now enter the NFL draft to pursue his professional football career. Amadi will graduate from the University of Oregon with a bachelor's degree in history. Something was different about Kenny Wooten on Sunday night. His knees were bent, his movement in the zone showed improvement and his physicality almost made us forget about the full face mask the Oregon forward is currently sporting to protect his fractured jaw. But while all these things were notable in Oregon's 20-point win over Washington State, it was a conversation with the legendary Bill Walton following Thursday's loss to Washington that struck a chord within Wooten. "He was just talking to me about how I wasn't making the most of my opportunities on my offense," Wooten said. "I decided to watch a little bit of him and I started watch a lot of post-work and stuff that he told me to look up and I just really started to focus on it." After hours of watching Walton's tape, Wooten was ready to put what he learned from the Hall of Famer to action. He did just that on Sunday night, recording a career-best 20 points on 8-10 shooting while adding 4 rebounds to fuel Oregon past Washington State, 78-58. Tonight's player of the game is at Kenny Wooten. The sophomore tied his career best with 2-0 points and shot at 80% from the field, 8-10. "I've been talking to him a lot about being more aggressive and not being afraid to fail." Wooten wasn't the only player to ball out against Washington State. Louis King scored 13 of his 22 points in the second half, while Paul White added 18 points for the Ducks. And it's official, Payton Pritchard is now in the 1,000-point 400 assists club. He joins Ron Lee, Dillon Brooks, Luke Ridnour, Luke Jackson, and Kenya Wilkins as the 6th player in program history with 1,000 points and 400 career assists. It was a memorable night for Pritchard, who became the 6th Oregon player with 1,000 career points and 400 assists. While it was the all-around effort win Oregon would have liked to have found sooner against Washington, and perhaps UCLA too, the Ducks now have sense of urgency to save their season. And they know every game counts. "Throughout all of our losses, we think of losses that we can afford," Wooten said. "Today was just another game we couldn't lose." Oregon, 12-8, 3-4, heads back on the road this week for conference play. They'll take on Utah, 11-8, 5-2, on January 31st and Colorado, 11-8, 2-5, on Feb.